All right, welcome. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you would, so you'll get notified, and the notification button when new content drops. And I want to talk about something that gets overlooked nowadays, and it's the importance of brotherhood, of spending time with other quality men. So, it is as important as date night in maintaining the relationship and the mental health of the men. So, here's the trend we see. Man spends a lot of time with his buddies, starts dating a gal, falls in love, and when they get married or before, he stops doing as much with his friends. And to some extent, that's fine, but it continues to a point that isn't good, okay? And then kids come along. And one of the things I've seen with coaching men for more than half a decade is there is a 95+% correlation. There's two things that correlate to divorce. One is not dating your wife, okay? The other is not spending time with your friends. The answer is typically rarely or never. So if you don't spend time with other quality men, with your friends, you have that correlates to a 95% divorce rate. Let that sink in. And a lot of nice guys are like, well, I can't take the time away. Da, 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 da. Yes, you can. You can prioritize yourself and your mental health. There's a crisis in which men over 50 have a very high suicide rate because they're isolated. They're lonely. They haven't maintained their friend groups. They became the provider and the dad when the kids came along, and they lost themselves. And there was even a study done at Oxford. Robin Dunbar did a study, and they found that men need 2 nights a week with their brothers. Now, of course, some women will scream, that's not fair, that's not right. I'm sorry that you disagree, but you're coming from a scarcity mindset. That doesn't mean you don't get nights to yourself too. And will it always be 2 a week? No. In a perfect world, and depending on how many little kids you have, that's just not always realistic. But once a week is. And if you can't make 1 night a week or 1 time a week to get together with your buddies, that's a you problem. You don't have boundaries with her. You're not prioritizing yourself. You're being a nice guy, which, again, is going to cause a divorce anyhow. So if you think about it, what I've always told men is you need to date your wife, and the studies have shown a weekly date night leads to a 360%-ish improvement that a wife reports that she's satisfied in her marriage when there's a weekly date night, because this is where connection and intimacy grows, fellows. And now you know that men are supposed to spend 2 nights a week with their mates, their buddies. So what I've recommended to men since day one is date night once a week, time with your buddies once a week. Now, life doesn't always allow that. So what is your minimum dosage to be effective? Date night twice a month, every other week. You're not exempt from the laws of nature, okay? And at least every other week, spending some time with some buddies without her there, okay? I'm not going to accept any whiny nice guy arguments. It's not possible. She'll get upset. Again, that's you having to start advocating for yourself. But I've talked to hundreds of guys who are isolated, miserable, facing divorce. And when 95% of them don't spend time with their friends, guess what one of the first things we do is? We have them reconnect with their friends as they're going through their marriage crisis. And they find themselves again. And not surprisingly, half of these men turn around their relationships. Again, it's not a scarcity issue. If you have 1 night a week you go out with your buddies or do something, it doesn't mean she can't. Excuse me. And you have to find and make the time. And you got to do it appropriately. You don't at the last second say, I'm going out with the boys. Maybe every Tuesday night standing is your night and every Wednesday night is hers. and then you spend the evening with the kids. Alone time with the kids without her is a wonderful thing that's needed for dads too. So, something to think about, brother. Brotherhood is essential, and it is required in a wonderful and an amazing life that you create for yourself. You're not exempt from this need. All right. We'll talk to you later. If you want to talk, there's a link down below. Catch you later.